Hi, gang. I've been hearing a lot of you say how much you're enjoying our Jamestown unit. That makes me so happy. We've really learned a lot, haven't we? Do you remember when the English colonists arrived in Jamestown? 1609, that's right. Why was this settlement so significant? Yes, it was the first permanent English settlement. Well done. It sure wasn't easy for those settlers, though. Remember how 80% of the colonists died in the first few years? Can you remember some of the ways they died? And people died in horrible ways, didn't they? Some from dysentery, and some so hungry they were forced to eat their horses or even rats. How would you like to learn more about Jamestown from a kid's point of view? There are two great books that are like journals written from a child's perspective, just your age. The first one is called Our Strange New Land, Elizabeth's Jamestown Colony Diary. Here's one of the entries from the landing in 1609. It is hot inside this fort where we shall live for a while. Nothing stirs but nasty mosquitoes. They bite and sting. They get in my ears. Jessie and I compete for who can swat the most. I've killed 27. Jessie is winning, for she has slain 30. Mama rubs fennel into the bites. Already, though, my neck is as fat as a melon. It's so fascinating reading about Jamestown from a child's perspective. And oh, those mosquitoes. Can you remember what disease those mosquitoes carried that was so dangerous? Yes, malaria. If that book sounds good to you, you'll also like the companion book from Elizabeth's perspective, The Starving Time, Elizabeth's Jamestown Colony Diary. Of course, we know from our studies how brutal the early years of Jamestown were. Listen to this entry from Elizabeth's journal on November 7th, 1609. I am very hungry today. All we have eaten for 2 days is a bit of hardtack and some cornmeal. This morning the cornmeal was crunchy with bugs. I tried not to notice, but it was hard not to gag. I found another book about Jamestown that you might like, and it sounds kind of funny. It's called John Smith Escapes Again. This is what I read about it. Long before Harry Houdini thrilled the world with his impossible deeds, America had produced an escape artist whose biography reads like an adventure novel. Many readers will know John Smith as the man rescued from death by Pocahontas, but Smith's story included a series of fantastic episodes: escape from imprisonment, ambushed by Indians, attacks by ruthless sea pirates, and more escapades than seem possible in one life. A final Jamestown book I think you'll find interesting is called Blood on the River. It is longer than the others, and I wondered if we might use it as a read aloud. Let me know what you think. It's from a young boy's perspective. Samuel Collier came from nothing, a street urchin, an orphan, and even a thief. He seems headed for a life in the alleys of London. So when he becomes the page of Captain John Smith and boards the Susan Constant bound for the New World, he can't believe his good fortune. He's heard that gold washes ashore with every tide. But beginning with the stormy journey and his first contact with the native people, Samuel realizes that the New World is nothing like he imagined. The lush Virginia shore, where they settle, is both beautiful and forbidding, and it's hard to know who's friend or foe. The settlers' troubles are just beginning. The summer of 1607 brings mysterious illness, and winter brings starvation. It's soon clear to Samuel that the ways of the English don't always work in this unfamiliar land. If you like historical fiction as much as I do, I've got all kinds of recommendations for you. Many of my students ask about the Who Was series, and I've got a book you can borrow called Who Was Queen Elizabeth? There's also a What Was series, and I bet you'd like a book called What Was the First Thanksgiving? Or What Was the Lewis and Clark Expedition? If you'd like to learn more about adventurous explorers like John Smith. The last book I want to tell you about, and I'm guessing you'll all be fighting over it because it's a graphic novel, is Jamestown Journey, Chester the Crab. It's by a cartoonist named Bentley Boyd. This is what it says on the back cover. The sailor who helped plant the first permanent English settlement in North America was a real pirate of the Caribbean. The businessmen who paid for the colony wanted to discover gold. Captain John Smith never married Pocahontas, and the colony never made its own coins, so people traded tobacco leaves. Find the true story of the beginning of the United States in this funny, colorful, graphic novel that will excite even reluctant readers. Sounds great, huh? I'm so glad you're enjoying our Jamestown unit. Just remember, this was a fascinating, true story, and there are loads of books out there that are funny, sad, or mysterious, and I think you'll love learning more about this exciting time in our country's history.